Like, I trusted her, and I was like, you know what, I'll give Xenos a chance. And she led me into a trap, and I was like, muck you. And then they started, like, making her, like, torture people and stuff, and she was, like, crying because she didn't want to do it, and I just left her there. I just left her there, man. Early at Lenavis remained a prisoner in Kamarag, in soul and body until the end of her days. Her re-education was put in the hands of the best witches, and her body was given over to the finest masters of flesh. Soon enough, the child of Assyrian corrupted her own spirit stone, proving to her dark kin she was one of them. I guess I should have killed her. The mysterious entity... Dude, I told you, when we saw the katana at the end, I was like, why does that look like Nomos' picture? The mysterious entity named Nomos left the Von Valancia's ship, but not the Expanse. Rumors about machines behaving strangely and worrying potent tech miracles emerged every year on dozens of worlds. Most of the miracles came down to machines coming to life to save someone from danger, damaged shuttles safely reaching the ground even without engines, or cogitators suddenly addressing their operators with words of encouragement and support, scaring them speechless. So we trained Nomos to be a good boy. There were many who wanted to find the source of these strange phenomena, yet Nomos was sufficiently cautious to avoid apprehension. Such was the echo of the deeds of the rogue trader of House Von Valancius. Deeds that transformed the Coronis Expanse and prepared it for events even darker and more violent. But those are the events of a different story. This one has come to an end. Oh my god! GG! Alright, time to tell you guys the spoilers. Okay, so here's the deal. One day I was Googling something, and I accidentally found a spoiler. And it never came up in my gameplay. I don't know how to make it come up. The beginning of the game, Theodora, the rogue trader who was the rogue trader at the beginning, she and her guard is from, what was that planet that blew up? And they're always, Cadia. The guard was from Cadia. See, he was like really good. Her and him were both killed before they could draw. And everyone was like, oh, Voitvir killed him. And then when we fought Voitvir, he seemed surprised she was dead. And we never found out who killed her. The spoiler I stumbled upon is in Chapter 3, if you've met certain conditions, Argenta admits that she shot them both. I don't know why, because I immediately slammed my fist down and stopped reading because I did not mean to spoil myself. But Argenta's the one who killed them both. Yeah, no clue. And there's something, I did her side quest. Took her to the planet she wanted to go to, found her sacred relic, got her, her power armor, all that stuff. But for some reason, Argenta is the one who killed the password trader. And that's why they didn't draw their weapons, they trusted her. Hold on a sec. Rogue trader Argenta kills Theodora. Let me see. So both this is storytelling. Adira has some dialogue, but that's it. Why aren't there repercussions for Theodora's killer? Hold on a sec. Aside from the reveal in Chapter 3, which I am not sure would have happened if a certain companion wasn't taken to party at the start of said chapter, nothing ever comes out of it. No talking about it, no trial, no nothing. Is it a bug or a narrative oversight? The bigger deal is the ship not having proper monitoring. Just check the CCTV records and see who did it. Let's see. Bad writing, you aren't wrong. At the time the ship was under attack by the warp, we find out the Dynasty member is behind it, and we find the rogue trader herself dead in her rooms in the middle of the emergency. The Psycho Adira is totally committed. The Seneschal is totally committed. The rogue trader has been requested by the Inquisitor to find and bring his interrogator football. Zero Chase, Single Sister of Battle, would take it on herself to challenge that level of Imperial authority directly. Yeah, I don't know why she did this. Hold on, is there a clip of the conversation? Yeah, all these videos are like 1 hour long, so I'm not gonna watch those. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not really sure why, but apparently Argenta did it. Now, I did have Argenta not in my party the whole game, but she was in and out of my party constantly, and apparently she wasn't in my party at the moment that flag was supposed to trip and she was supposed to admit it. Sisters of Battle don't need much to execute someone if they suspect you've heresy ban problems. Yeah, but then she lied about it and stuff, though. She, like, cried over the body. She was, like, swearing to find Theodora's killer and stuff, but it was her the whole time. It was really weird. Yeah, okay. Review time? Sure, review time. All right. So this music is awesome, but I have it way too loud and I can't get to these sound controls right now. So I'm just going to tab out of it just so it does this. Okay, this game. So this game, as we've said many times before, was made by Owlcat. Owlcat made Pathfinder Kingmaker and Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Very clear that it's like the same engine, stuff like that. It was a very cool game. The storytelling, for the most part, I liked it. The classes, some of them I didn't like, some of them I loved. The officer class was crazy, just giving extra turns to other people and constantly. That was so good. The abilities where they had scaling, I loved those things. Like when I give an ally an extra turn, they get +2 to all stats until end of combat, no cap. So like I could keep doing that. And as the fight dragged on, I got stronger and stronger. I loved those mechanics. The Arch-Militant, what Argenta was every time she did an attack that was different from her last attack, she got a stacking bonus, and it stacked up to like 1,000 times. I would finish the fight by the time she was at like 100 of them. But that's why I would go like single shot, burst fire, because I kept racking up that bonus. That was the reason for that. I loved that combat system. The talents in the game, there was way too many. There was a lot that were just rubbish. Like, it was like at level 4, I think, was the first time you see the whole talent pool. It was like over 100 options. And I was like, I gotta sit here and read for 30 minutes before I pick a good option to make sure I don't regret it. It was way too many. I love the choices, but there was like too many options. They weren't sorted by category. They weren't alphabetized. It was just like a big, just pile of them. So I definitely felt like there could have been better organization there because it was just like trying to drink from a fire hose at that point. Every one of the recent Owlcat games has a mini-game in it. In Pathfinder Kingmaker, there is managing the kingdom. In Wrath of the Righteous, there's an army battler that's kind of like Heroes of Might and Magic 1. This game was ship battles. And I really didn't like it because they were either super easy or insanely difficult. And the only place to get the ship gear was this one trader who wanted Xeno artifacts. And I gave them every Xeno artifact I found in my playthrough of the game, and that got me to like level 9 out of 15. So I got like that much stuff from them, and I upgraded my ship. And there was 2 fights where I had to kite the enemy for like 30 minutes firing torpedoes backwards. And it was awful. Those were not fun. They were just frustrating. And I don't want to say it was RNG, but it was just like you had very few tools, and the enemy had overwhelming firepower, and you had to do everything just right to get through it. So I did not like that system. I'm not opposed to them having ship combat, but the ship combat that was in the game was pretty lame. Also, the ship, every one of the ship's abilities, the cooldown was between 1 and 3 turns at random. So sometimes you'd use an ability and you could use it again next turn. Other times you'd use an ability and you couldn't use it for 3 turns. It made everything very unreliable. Like just cooldowns were all over the place. It was quite frustrating. Of course the ship, was always traveling at full speed in a fight. So you could only turn like this. You could only do these like massive turns. The torpedoes do massive turns, stuff like that. Your chosen difficulty probably made it more annoying than normal. Maybe. I was playing on hard mode. And honestly, you guys saw I deleted the final boss of the game with Argenta. And if Argenta hadn't been there, I could have done it with Cass, but it would have taken more turns. Because Cass also had the infinite scaling feature. And that's another thing, is the companions. But yeah, so like the ship combat compared to the people combat, if you're saying like, oh, well, this was hard mode. Well, the people combat was easy and the ship combat was nearly impossible. So yeah. Companions. So Idora was doing heresy stuff. So I killed her. Heinrichs betrayed me. Well, I felt like I was betrayed. He was just, working for the Inquisition and being really rude to me. And he broke into my office, and I told him, get the hell out of here. And then that's when I made the Heinrich the Loyal character. Then we had Yerliet, who betrayed me. And I was like, get lost. And she ended up becoming like a dark Eldari. So she joined them. And then Jay. I had a quest to meet Jay at a bar. I didn't realize that was the Recruit Jay quest. I went to do that after doing some other things, and she was not there. I was never able to get Jay to join my team. But for some reason, the game did put a quest for like later in Jay's story in my quest log, and I was never able to get it done. Like I couldn't do it because Jay hadn't joined my team, but it was like, go do this thing for Jay. So we never had Jay join the team. We did get the Space Marine to join the team. You know, he only joins you in Act, was it 3 or 4? He joins you really late in the game. I don't really understand his ending because at the end, like, did you see at the end, he wanted to go to a planet. The whole time he wanted to go to a planet. We get there, he ends up bloody. We save him and bring him back to the ship. He's never seen again. I assume he was getting like healed up in a med bay or something. He's never seen again, and he did not have a card in the credits. I have no idea what happened to that guy. I don't know if that was like they didn't finish his story or if it bugged out. I'm not sure what was going on there. Apparently you talked to the Vox on your ship to advance that story and get him back. Okay, then I missed that. I'll say I missed that then. And then there's one more companion that can join you, which is it's when I got rid of Irliet. There was the Dark Eldari guy. What's his name? Hang on a sec. Rogue Trader Companions. One sec, I'll show you guys. So, still with me, killed her, still with me, told him to get out, still with me, fell in love, never joined because bug, told her to get lost, missing. This guy was, of course, it was super heresy to team up with this guy, so I said, muck you, and we killed him. This is the guy that was trying to kill you for multiple acts. Apparently he can join you later on, but that's like super heresy. So I was like, no, we don't need you. But he ended up being like a boss fight in like Act 4, I think. Was that the one where you get kidnapped? Act 3 or 4? Ended up being a boss fight there. But yeah, you just missed it. Yeah. What's the replayability? It definitely has replayability because there's lots of decisions I could have made differently. Like hey, what's up? Yeah, I'm almost done. He knows it's time for me to be stopping the stream. I did most of my decisions iconoclast, but then as we kind of got to the mid game, I started being more neutral. But you could go like neutral or full iconoclast or full dogmatic or full heretical, and like you could be like a dark lord guy, you know, by the end of it, or you could be like a merciful person, or like me, kind of neutral, or, you know, for the emperor, everyone is wrong except the emperor. Like at the end there, when we saw those other versions of ourselves, I bet if I had been chaotic or if I had been heretical, I would have been that one, and then the neutral version of me would have been one of the clones. Like whatever versions of you, or whatever decisions you didn't make became those other copies that you fought at the end. So yeah, there is replayability. It is a long game. It's 100 hours long. I'm not going to go through it again. It was very fun. I think it is worth it. I do not regret my time in it. Oh, another thing I'll say is Owlcat has this one thing where like, you know, they'll have like an open beta for like chapter 1, chapter 2. So there's a lot of testing done on those chapters. And the late game is often kind of a mess. Now, Kingmaker, the late game, I played it like day 1. It was crashing constantly. It was really, really bad. Wrath of the Righteous, the final chapter of the game, was insanely laggy until they fixed that. This one, they did better. But the late game, there was the insanely unbalanced ship combat from end of chapter 4 onward. We had to reload the game a million times to get through that stuff. Do you guys remember when we killed the Catan shard? The screen went black and we had to wait like 1.5 minutes for it to continue, and I didn't touch anything because I was afraid of breaking it. There was like the NPCs that were floating in the air, not standing on bridges. Just a lot of small things. Nothing game-breaking. But they did better than Kingmaker and Wrath of the Righteous. But very clearly, you know, the end of the game needed more polish, whereas the beginning of the game felt fine. Does the game have granular difficulty settings like Pathfinder? I wonder if you could set the ship battle to trivial. I'm not sure. Hang on. Really long credit rolls. I think these are the list of like Kickstarters. Oh god, we're only in the K's. All right. I was gonna... Oh man, I wonder if there's anything at the end. it's gonna take too long. All right. Main menu. Oh gosh, no, I'm too scared I'm gonna miss something, you guys. I'm too scared I'm gonna miss something. All right. I'm just gonna hold down the enter key to speed it up. What if I hold down 2 enter keys? Does it go faster? No. Dang it. That was a big brain move, but it didn't work. At least the cues went fast. Hold the enter key with 2 fingers. I am! Hi, Noxie. I'm too scared of missing something, chat, so I'm gonna go through this like this. It's good music, at least. Wait, what? We got through the alphabetical names. Now there's more names not alphabetical. What is this? Backers? Oh, muck you. It's another list. Okay, all right. Main menu. All right. GG. All right, so someone asked about the difficulty. One second. So options. Where is it? New game. Yeah, it's fine. Difficulty. Okay, so there's story, normal, daring, hard, unfair. I was playing on hard. So here's hard, here's unfair. So yeah, there's lots of settings here you can mess with. Space combat difficulty. Set the difficulty of space combat. Affects the damage of enemy void ship weapons and the amount of scrap required to repair the flagship. Normal provides a relaxing experience in most settings. Daring, hard difficulty provides additional challenge for experienced players. Damage inflicted by enemies increased by 25%. Base amount of scrap required to repair flagship. Daring enemies inflict full damage. Base amount of scrap, yeah. So yeah, you can turn down the space stuff. Yep. Okay. And honestly, I was kind of stubborn, you know. I didn't want to be like, oh, I beat the whole game on hard except this part. Yeah, I didn't want to have an asterisk there. So I was stubbornly trying to get through it, but God. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. I respect that they were trying to add like a fun little mini game there, but that was really, it was, when it got to the point where I was having to kite off stream for an hour firing torpedoes backwards to get through the carrier fight, I was like, ugh, you know. But yeah, this overall fun game. If you're just catching this at the very end, if you like CRPGs, such as Pillars of Eternity or Pathfinder or Baldur's Gate, you might like this. Now, of course, this is sci-fi, this is grimdark, different fantasy setting, and there's still swords and magic, though. But if you like those things, you might like this one. Oh, you know what? One more thing I hated, the injury system. Like, you get off the ship, and you fail to see a mine, you step on a mine, and your guy gets hit. And it's like, you broke your leg. Minus 50 to movement, minus 2 to aim, until you next go to the ship. You couldn't treat it. There was no way to treat that on the go. Even though I had a biomancy psyker that could mend flesh and knit bones, I'd have to teleport back to the ship, load screen, teleport back down, load screen to get rid of injuries. I did not like the injury system. It was nice of the game to fully heal everyone as soon as combat ended. That was nice. But the injury system was pretty lame. What's the replayability? If you like it, it definitely has replayability because there's lots of branching paths and options. Like, there's very, very much replayability if you enjoyed it. For me, it was just the time investment. You know, it was like a 100-hour game, so I'm going to tap out after one playthrough. But it was a fun game. If I make a review video for this, it is going to be just will be a positive review that will just have a few, I didn't like these aspects, but overall, great game. So that's my thoughts on it. GG.